Hey guys, welcome back here to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Joelle and I am a full-time reseller on several platforms, but primarily Poshmark and whatnot. And for today's video, I am talking about things that I will be leaving behind for my reseller business in 2023, and I will also talk about a couple things that I'm adding to my business as well. And I will add a little disclaimer because there are always exceptions. But for things that I'm leaving behind, some of these things I am not necessarily ditching completely. I am just not prioritizing them as much as I used to. So if at any time during this video you feel like you are getting some sort of value from it, I hope that you consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate all of the support that I have received from this amazing YouTube community. So I really hope you consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. But now we're going to get into things that I am leaving behind in my reseller business for 2023. All right, first up that I am leaving behind on Poshmark is sharing other people's closets. Now, this goes with my disclaimer. I am not completely ditching sharing people's closets. I will return shares if people share a lot of items in my closet or if it is someone familiar that I know from the reseller community. But just a ballpark, I am sharing no more than 10 to 15 items a day from other people's closets. And this is because Poshmark came out with a report for 2023 talking about different tasks that you do on the app to increase sales. And they pretty much said that sharing other people's closets only increases your chances of making sales by about 9%. I will try to find the chart that shows this because if I have the percentage wrong, you can obviously correct me in the comments, but I know it was around that 9% range versus sharing your own closet, which I believe they said increases your chances of getting a sale by 50 or more percent. So again, I am not completely ditching sharing other people's closets, but if I have the chance to either share someone else's items or share my own, I will always share my own over anyone else's items because I am trying to increase my chances the most, because Poshmark has clearly stated that sharing other people's closets really doesn't matter anymore versus sharing your own closet, which is essential to making daily sales. With that being said, I am no longer investing in a sharing service that shares other people's closets, and I'm currently just manually sharing my own closet. That will hopefully change in the future if I can find a good sharing service. But right now, I am really not trying to pay $30 to $40 a month for a service to not only share my items, but to also share other people's items, because I feel like these services will mark up their prices because they are not only sharing your closet, they are also doing other social tasks in the app, which again, Poshmark has said really doesn't increase your chances of getting a sale. And so I am no longer prioritizing that. Therefore, I'm no longer prioritizing sharing services that do tasks like sharing other people's closets. All right, the next thing that I am leaving behind in 2023 for my reseller business is counter offers. Now, of course, like sharing other people's closets, there are always exceptions. I am not going to accept every single offer that I receive, because people will send lowball offers where I barely make any money on valuable items. But I keep seeing people say this on social media and I 100% agree with it. And it is that we are in the business of selling items, not storing them. But again, there are exceptions. If I receive a $30 offer on a $100 pair of Doc Martens, I am not going to accept that, and I will not hesitate to counter offer. But that type of situation is completely different than something like a bread and butter piece that I have listed for maybe 25 to 35 bucks and that I don't have a lot of money invested into. For example, I have a recent sale of these Madden Girl boots. I had them listed for $30 and I only paid $1.11 for them. And when I listed them, I received an offer for $15 about 15 minutes after I listed the item. Obviously, 50% off can be considered a lowball offer. And for a lot of my listings, I would simply counter offer rather than accepting. But with these Madden Girl boots, I decided to accept for two reasons. The first one is because I only had $1 and some change invested into them. And the second reason is that they are not a desirable brand or specific style of boots. So because it is not a trending or in-demand item, those boots could potentially sit for months in my closet. So I would rather accept that quick sale and get those boots out the door for a quick $12 rather than storing in my inventory for who knows how long. Basically, my business model has changed a lot since I became a full-time reseller. And if I receive an offer on a bread and butter item that is making me a decent enough profit, I am accepting that offer rather than counter offering. Now, I do have a couple of examples of items that I wish I would have just accepted the offer rather than counter offering. I will show you these examples real quick and then we will get right into the next topic. But first up, I have this Ronnie Kobo Jalen knit cardigan, which actually just sold on Whatnot. But I had this sweater listed for over $200 well over a year ago. I paid $25 for it at a Nordstrom Rack clearance event, and just a couple of weeks after it was listed, I received an offer for $100. I considered taking it because I would have made a quick $60 or $65 for it, but I decided to counter offer at around $150, and the buyer ended up not saying anything or not responding to that offer. So I ended up not making the sale. Now, before this sweater sold on Whatnot for much less of a profit than I would have made had I would have accepted that offer, this sweater was relisted probably 3 or 4 times on Poshmark. It had been cross-posted to my platforms, and it also racked up a lot of likes, but I received no counter offers on my initial offers sent out. I received no offers from potential buyers in general, and I always regretted not accepting that $100 offer in the first place because I would have made a quick $60+ after only a couple weeks of having it listed. And next up, I have these Cole Haan new without tag boots that I received in a ThredUp shoe rescue box, making my cost of goods just $5.34. And this particular box was not the best. These Cole Haan boots were probably the only expensive, decent condition pair of shoes that I had. Because of that, I listed these pretty high at $100, and I received a pretty quick offer for $55. Because I was so stubborn, I counter offered $75 on these boots, and they ended up being listed after the buyer ghosted me for about a year before they sold for $45. When I received that $45 offer, after I had lowered the price to $75, I decided that I would not make the same mistake again, and I ended up accepting it and made a quick $30 or so for it. So to sum it all up, if I do receive an offer that will make me a decent amount of money, as long as it is not some super desirable or trendy piece, I am just going to accept that counter offer and stop being so stubborn because again, we are in the business of selling, not storing items. All right, we have one more thing to talk about that I am leaving behind in my reseller business, and then we will talk about some additions that I will have. But with this next thing, there are no exceptions. I am unfortunately completely ditching it. It definitely hurt the most, but what I am ditching in 2023 is OneShop. This one really hurt, especially because I made a YouTube video probably 3 or 4 months ago about why I think OneShop is the best virtual assistant to have. I will say that there are still great perks, and if OneShop helps your business, obviously keep using it. For me, it just quickly stopped working for my particular reseller business, and so I am ditching it in 2023. And I have my notes here, so I will read these couple sentences word for word so I don't miss a thing. But I said the perks are still there, but there have been way too many complications with the platform, and honestly some drama that I found to be immature and pointless. The company seemed more invested in talking about former members than helping out with customer support. So if you don't know, OneShop has a Facebook community group. If you are part of the OneShop community that you have access to, it's honestly very similar to any other type of Poshmark Facebook group where you can just find helpful tips and tricks, but they will also talk about updates to the app and any changes they are making. And I won't talk too much about all this drama because, like I said, I felt like it was immature and pointless for OneShop to focus so much on. But the drama was there was a pretty prominent member who I think was an admin in the Facebook group who ended up leaving OneShop and joining Posh Sidekick. Basically, there were accusations being made that OneShop was not generating actual traffic to your Poshmark closet. And when this person brought that issue to light, there were a lot of people saying that all of a sudden they weren't getting a lot of notifications. I was one of them. I personally had OneShop sharing my items 24/7 and sending out automatic offers to likers. And one huge thing I noticed was that I used to wake up to a lot of notifications, usually over 100. This would include not only shares and follows, but also likes and usually a sale or two. But there was about a 3 to 4 week long span where I was waking up to only about 20 to 30 notifications at a time. even though I had changed nothing within the OneShop app. So these accusations seem to be pretty accurate, and I noticed that a lot of other sellers were experiencing the exact same things that I was experiencing and that this seller was experiencing who brought up the accusations. And when I addressed my own issues to OneShop support, they basically tried to brush around the issue, and I really didn't appreciate that. So I decided to part ways with them. And one more thing that I noticed, which is why I'm leaving OneShop, is that there were a lot of issues with cross-posting. So for OneShop users, I want you to know this. Definitely make sure to check on your Mercari listings specifically. I didn't check the other platforms as much, but I really noticed it with Mercari. When I would cross-post within OneShop, I would import my Poshmark listings and then cross-post to eBay, Mercari, and Depop. But basically, what was shown in my OneShop listing was not accurately showing on Mercari. For example, I noticed it a lot with Lulu's and J. Crew listings. Basically, I would have a Lulu's dress that was branded as Lulu's and then categorized as a maxi dress, and for the occasion, I would have it as wedding guest. And for several of my Lulu's listings like this, when it showed up on Mercari, it would show up as unbranded, and for the occasion, it would show up as a wedding dress rather than a wedding guest dress. So I noticed all of that after this OneShop drama happened, so really OneShop needed to give me one more reason to leave, and the cross-posting issues was that reason. But now that we have talked about things that I am leaving behind in 2023 for my reseller business, we will now talk about things that I am adding to my reseller business. And the first thing that I have is Vendu. I gotta say, I am only a few days into cross-listing with Vendu, but it has so far been my favorite cross-listing service, and I really think that this will be one that I will stick to. Obviously, I used OneShop, and I wanna say I used it collectively for about a year. I also tried out Flip over the summer, and I also tried out List Perfectly for about a month, but I found that List Perfectly was really glitchy compared to all of the other cross-listing services that I tried out. So finally, I decided to take the plunge and try out Vendu. Overall, I feel like Vendu is the most popular, which really makes me feel good because it has definitely been recommended by a lot of other resellers, so I feel really confident using it. And if you are considering trying it out, one of my favorite things about Vendu is that they do have tiered pricing, and it is really reasonable. So I will show you all a screenshot of their pricing. I personally have the simple plan, which is $19.99 a month, which means you can do 125 listings. Next month, I'm planning on upgrading it, but I wanted to make sure that I could get really acquainted with the app, so I didn't want to overspend. But they also have 3 add-ons. The first one is the relist and delist. The second one is the importing one, and the third one is the all marketplaces. Each add-on is $4.99 a month, but you can actually do a bundle deal where you get all 3 of them for $11.99 a month. I personally did not do the bundle because I don't need all marketplaces. I'll post a screenshot of all the marketplaces that they have, but I really only sell on Poshmark, eBay, Depop, Mercari, and now Kidizen. And Vendu allows you to cross-post to 4 platforms without having to add that add-on. So that was really convenient for me, and I did not have to spend that extra money. But like I said, I feel really confident using Vendu, and I will say, after my experience with List Perfectly, OneShop, and Flip, I think that Vendu is the most user-friendly, and overall, I am really excited to add it to my reseller business in 2023. Also, I will throw in a little shameless plug and a good opportunity for you all to share your referral links with me. If you have any services that you think I should try out, in regards to sharing services or cross-posting services, I would love to hear your opinions and your favorite ones in the comments. As a new full-time reseller, I'm trying my best to experiment with a lot of different sharing and cross-posting services so I can find the one that best suits my reseller business. So I would definitely love to use your referral links because we can both benefit off of it. And again, I definitely want to experiment with all of these different services. All right, we have one more thing that I am adding to my reseller business. I've talked about this a little bit in my past couple of videos, but what I am adding is a reseller calendar every single month. I gotta say, selling on Whatnot has definitely changed my view on marketing and promoting, because to be successful on the app, you definitely need to make sure that you are promoting your shows. So with that, I have also enjoyed just promoting my reseller business in general, which is why I'm really excited to add a monthly calendar to my business. So basically, this is a monthly calendar that I will be posting on my Instagram and pinning to the top of my page. And on this calendar, I will have all of my Whatnot shows that I will be hosting, along with Poshmark sales. One of the biggest additions that I'm adding to my Poshmark is at the end of every month. For the last 2 days of each month, I will be having a 50% off sale on all of my items. I have hosted this sale at the end of January and February, and I've definitely been able to clear out a lot of inventory. Even though my profit per item hasn't been as high on these days, a lot of those little sales add up to make a really big profit. And having this reseller calendar in general has helped me be more accountable and more structured with my business, especially with Whatnot. I used to have more spontaneous and random shows, but now I have more of a set schedule, so people will know when I have shows. And for people who want to shop my Poshmark, they will also know when I'm having those sales. So I've said in some of my previous videos, you don't need to use social media if you're a Poshmark seller. But if you want to, I think it is really helpful if you want to connect with the reseller community and if you want to target buyers on social media. So that is all I have for this video. Just to recap, the things that I'm leaving behind in my reseller business for 2023 is sharing other people's closets, sending counter offers. I'm completely ditching OneShop. And the things that I am adding to my reseller business are Vendu and a reseller calendar, which pretty much means that I am going to be using a lot more marketing strategies in 2023. So that is all that I have for you all today. And now that we're at the end of the video, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you for the next video.